round pick, running back out of Texas, Jaden Blue. The one thing that you'd hear when you speak the name Jaden Blue, fast. Fast, fast, fast. This is the spark, I believe, the Cowboys need, and I think he'll help this football team. I think Jaden Blue, his passing ability, his pass catching ability would be the speed is always, that's evident, and that's what you want. But I think for him, helping out in the passing game initially is going to be his particular skill set that when we look back after the 2025-2026 season, we're going to go, man, he really helped his passing game out. He really, especially with the Cowboys not being able to find their second number 2 receiver in the draft, I think he'll be able to help. I also think if they don't go and sign I think they should take a flyer on a guy like Nick Chubb. I wouldn't be mad at that. I think Javonte Williams, go heels, is a good back. I don't think Miles Sanders has much left in the tank. They got another running back later in the 7th round, Phil Maffa. I think he's a bruising, battering back. I think Jaden Blue fits in the slot mode, not at every down back. He gets 4 to 7 snaps a game, whether that be handoffs, whether that be passing plays, but he is a mismatch for anybody. Don't care who. Cornerback, safety, linebacker. He catches the ball in space. He's fast enough where he outruns angles. When you think, I took the right angle, I got him, and you go beep beep, I'm out. He's that fast. Problem was, even at Texas, he was in the big house. Then he got sent to the outhouse because he could not stop breaking the cardinal sin of a football player, but an absolute cardinal sin of a running back: fumbling the football. You are a running back and you have a fumbling problem, you will be in coach's doghouse in the quickest way. If you can't protect the ball as a running back, you're dead. You're dead. You won't play. And that's what happened to him at Texas. He was in there, and he could not stop putting the ball on the ground. In the words of Mike Singletary, can't play with him. Can't win with him. Can't coach him. A running back that can't hold on to the football won't see the light of day in most football organizations. We'll see if he focuses and fixes that, because he can be and people, I said it on my show earlier today, and I don't know if all my co-hosts believed me, but the one thing that I'll say, and I love Jeff, I love Pop, I love Joe. The one thing that I can say, that I can stand on, that they can't, I did it. I put them pads on. And if Jaden Blue was going to be your 2B to 3rd running back, he had to play special teams. And I think that's also going to be a factor where he can be really good at. I think Cavante will be your punt returner. I would not be mad if you put Jaden Blue back there for a little kickoff. Would not be mad at that. You talk about having 2 lightsaber speed dudes back there, would not be mad at it. But where he's also going to play a part of that is, being the up back on punt team. And I know people are like, oh, Jesse, special teams. I'm like, think about this for a second. When they're punting the ball, if he's the personal protector, that's the guy that's standing behind the center, and he punts it, normally there's a guy off the line of scrimmage on the defensive side waiting to receive, to block the personal protector. I know because I played it for 5 years in the National Football League. If I can beat him with speed, there's nobody else left to block me. So what does that mean? When a returner looks up, but he feels me coming, fair catch. No chance of a return. No chance of a return. And a good return in the National Football League is 8 to 10 yards. If I punt returner, and it usually happens if I make the first guy miss. If I make the first guy miss, I'm going to pick up 10 yards. But the first guy down there is Jaden Blue because of his speed. Fair catch. Now they have to go 80, 90. They don't get that opportunity to separate and break one. I'm just saying he can make an impact on special teams as well when he's not running the football. And most third-string running backs have to do that. It's another reason why I think you can say bye-bye to little Tink Tink because he didn't play special teams, and he was like the third or fourth-string running back. So I don't think Deuce is going to be here too much longer. Special teams keep you around, man. Keep you around. Find a niche. Stay. Fifth round, Shamar Stewart, linebacker from Florida. It's a good player, decent player. I'm sorry, Shamar James. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah. Sixth round, I took an offensive lineman, Cornelius, from Oregon, seventh round. This one right here, the Jay Toya, defensive tackle from UCLA. Might have a little something there. You need some big bodies in there. Seventh round, Phil Maffa, and seventh round, the last pick, Tommy King. I can't pronounce that last name. King Besote. Defensive tackle from Maryland. He's okay. He'll be on the practice squad probably this year. But that's their draft. If I had to give a grade, and this is always the hard part because you give a grade in April and then you get to training camp and you're like, oh, he actually can't play. And now that grade sucks. So I would say a B plus. I'd say a B plus simply because of the value. They got players after Tyler Booker, who I think was their best player available after Tedero McMillan got picked by the Carolina Panthers, excuse me. They got a second-round pick who most people had as a high first-round pick in Donovan D-Easy. And then they got a third-round pick in Savon Revel, who's a first-round high pick in the third round. Like, those are all value picks. Some may have had Blue higher than the fifth round. If they did, great. Then you got a running back in the fifth round that most people may have had in the third or fourth round. The value alone, I think, gives this team a B. But now here comes the question that everyone, you should be asking yourselves. Did this football team get better than the team that they produced last year? Now, if you just say, well, we added Dak Prescott back to the lineup because he was hurt most of last year, did this team get better? The jury's still out. I'm not going to answer that question right now. You can answer the question. Answer in the comments. Leave a comment, chat. I don't know. Let's see what Tyler Booker is. Let's see if Revel can get back from the ACL injury and be a player. Let's see if we see Blue not fumble the ball and be able to keep the ball in his hands and use that speed in necessary places. I don't know if this football team is better. A lot of people had this team before the draft as somewhere between a 7-9 win football team. I don't know if this draft changes that. I don't know. I can tell you more. To be continued, and I'll be able to tell at training camp whether this football team was a better football team or not. I will say this, though. I think it's a solid draft. But here's where because there's still some needs. They're still looking for a receiver, still looking for some other pieces. What makes this a little bit disappointing is, man, solid draft. If I had a full general manager and not a half general manager, because I only got half of GMing. Half of GMing is I got a good draft. The other half of GMing is I build a roster in free agency. If you had a full GM, if you had a Howie Roseman type, A full GM, then you would have been aggressive in free agency and maybe got that receiver, that veteran receiver, or that defensive tackle, or those linebackers, or whatever have you. And then you couple that with this draft. Now we're cooking with grease. But you only got half a GM. And you got the laziness that Jerry Jones has been from that GM perspective and position, where you did not get the free agency that you need because you had the money available, and they're still slow rolling themselves with this Micah Parsons contract. But if they would have been aggressive early in that first tier of players, and you coupled them with these draft picks, this offseason looks light years different. And you feel great about this upcoming season. And you say, you know what? This team is a team that can compete for the NFC East, is a team that can compete in the playoffs, and potentially, if these guys hit, compete for an NFC East appearance, NFC East championship appearance. I'm gonna pump my brakes on that Super Bowl thing because it's been 30 years, 29 years, whatever the drought is. But I just needed Jerry and Steven to be full GMs, the whole kit and caboodle, not half. That's what we get here. So I'm going to hold off on what I think this football team is. Did it get better? Still have some holes. Still need to find a number 2 wide receiver. What does that look like? Just for those who are asking or may ask or may leave in a comment, what about George Pickens? Off the table. I think George Pickens did what everybody, George Pickens' representation, let me say, has done what everybody else has done to the Cowboys. Put their name in the conversation to drive off interest somewhere else. He's not coming here. If you had the George Pickens dreams, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, wake up. It's not happening. It's not happening. He is still completely in play in Pittsburgh. They try to drum up the interest because they'll say the Cowboys need a receiver. George Pickens, we can trade him. And on top of that, you're going to have to pay George Pickens. Like, it's going to be like a Cincinnati situation where he wants $30 million. He's going to want to get paid like T. Higgins. The Cowboys ain't paying 2 of y'all. And CeeDee Lamb is the alpha here. And I don't think George Pickens is the guy you want in your locker room. I think George Pickens get here and gets a little bit more wow. He gets a little bit more wow. We don't have the currently right now the proper leadership to insulate ourselves with a guy like George Pickens. I don't think we have it. I don't. But that's a name that's out there. And I know that there's Keenan Allen out there and there's Amari Cooper out there. Both guys have aged. I don't think Amari Cooper wants to come back. I know he had beef with Michael McCarthy, and he had some smoke with Jerry Jones over the COVID no shot situation. Didn't like the way they handled it. They sent them away. They traded them away for a bag of beans. Amari Cooper lives here in Dallas. I don't think he's coming back to play for the Cowboys. But I've been wrong before. I highly doubt it.